Recording on my end. Go ahead and close the door. I thought I had some things to roll out, but I didn't see that they were posted, so I'll have to wait for that to I guess into production, which it was noted that it was, but when I looked for it, it wasn't. So I'll just go over a couple of standard things. We'll talk a little bit about A2P and then we can
About what? A2P?
A2P. Yeah, the basically all the emails you sent me in question. Well, I'll clarify anything that we've gone over, and then I'll leave that here for everybody else as well to have it as known information. I don't go over it too many times. Well, not many. I think I just anytime there's an issue, so I'm just going to go ahead and spend some time on that. And then I don't know if you guys have anything that you guys want to talk about, but I do have another meeting following after this, so we'll keep it simple this one. So I guess thank you everybody for showing up to this what is it?
30th of
December
December.
30th. Yeah, no, I mean it's we had our last Sunday of the year. What? This is going to be the last Monday of the year. Tomorrow
Yeah.
is going to be barbecue time, so that'll be the last barbecue time of the year.
Well, not here.
Well, that's what they got me cooking. They got me doing something called a chifrijo. So if you guys know what that is, it's
Nope.
beans, rice, what you guys would call pico de gallo, right? So just
Uh-huh.
chopped fresh tomatoes, onions, and cilantro. And then you guys do chicharron? Do you guys do pork rind? But it's not
No,
like the
no
come out of
problem.
the bag, not out of the bag. It's like basically it's like the bacon. You take
Hmm.
the bacon, you chop that bad boy up, and then you just throw that into a big pot of oil, and then I guess you can throw it with some herbs and spices to everybody really does it their different way. But then and then I got to do that, and then in the evening it's gonna be hitting the grill with some pork ribs. I think it's gonna be pork all day tomorrow. So for the ones that do pork, there you go. But so I definitely wish everybody a happy new year and blessings all around. And then we were discussing a little bit of some new things. I know, Bob, I still got an email that I got to send out to you. I already kind of got it already pieced together, just needed to send it to you.
A likely story. Yeah.
And then
Uh-huh.
we could review it together because most likely it's going to be not confusing.
Confusticating. It'll be
Yes,
confusticating because everything you send me is confusticating.
it'll be right down your alley.
Yeah.
If I don't get smoke out of your ears, then I didn't do a good job. So, um, so let's start with A2P, right? It is something that has recently, right, in the past year kind of came up. It has to do with before this, it used to be, I guess, a little bit more wild, wild west. People could sign up for what is it, texting capabilities through many different companies. Some companies are more lenient to the information that you need to give them. Other companies ask you for everything and do A2P registry. In the beginning, we were doing it on your guys' behalf under our company. And then it was like we needed everybody's specific information. And essentially what it is just registering your company with the third party provider and them disclosing this information to this campaign registry. And what it will do is for a setup fee and a monthly fee, it registers your information with all the multiple telephone carriers. I think there's 6 or 7 major telephone carriers. And if you don't participate in this, then the telephone carriers have the right to essentially just filter out your messages, any or all. That's what we understood. So, because you guys do a lot of messaging and you do it on behalf of your LegalShield and your service and things like that, we don't intend anything as malicious, right? But for the ones that do sign up with companies and just start sending out some malicious stuff, and then they use maybe fake information and possibly pay through, I don't want I don't want to say like a fake card or anything like that, but like through a prepaid. So it's really not attached to anybody. That could possibly be some fake information on there as well. So when people were doing malicious things, those third party, companies nor the telephone carriers really kind of had anybody responsible to go to and be like, hey, what are you doing? Or report you to the police, I would assume, if you're actually doing some illegal stuff. And so there was just real no way of identifying who's doing this for real and, and who you are doing it, right? So that A2P started to get a little bit more stricter, and it got to the point where you have to disclose, you know, simple information with the jot form that we send everybody. And then you just fill that out, submit the form. So then it goes through our system, and then it goes to the correct people that register your number. So I send out an email that talks about that, gives a little bit of what it is. For the people that don't come from a referral, yes, you do have to pay for it. So if anybody were just to see our CRM and not come from a referral, then they don't get the special gift. The gift is the registry in your first month, which is a value of $25. So all you have to do is really just submit, right, your information. Takes about a week to get you approved. And when that does happen, then the text messages that you send out through your CRM go. And until then, right, you can pick a number, you can do all of that. However, it just won't continue, right? So with that said, I'll show you where to get a number. I think it's in settings. So this little gear down at the bottom where it says settings, if you click that, it'll take you to text and calls. And just go ahead and give it a click. And so here it says get your Fieldnotes number. And if it tells me, let me see if it shows the little paywall. So for the ones that, yes, so for the ones that do come up and don't come from a referral, this is what you see. So normally you'll have to come and pay this. Let me go ahead and let Chip in. You'll have to pay this. This will get charged, and then it will give you to where you can actually select a number. So let me show you what that looks like, but I have to actually go to somebody's account, and I think I'm somebody who's new. There we go.
Did I send you my form, Jeremy?
I didn't see it come through. So
Okay,
you have
well,
to hit the
I
job
know
form, and then
I see it in my documents. It's all done, so I may not have sent it yet.
yeah, you got to hit the, so when you click that little jot form
This-
link, it
Yeah,
takes you to a jot form, and then you fill it out there, and then at the bottom there's a submit button.
yeah.
And then there we go. So for the ones that either come through a referral, right? So if you do come through a referral, like Michelle, so I'm using your account because you actually have it to where I can demo it.
Okay.
You just have to express to me that, okay, I'm ready to send out text messaging because before that, it's going to ask you to pay for it. So that's not the case. You don't have to pay for it, right? Because Bob referred you. So that you
Mhm.
get this for free. So I went ahead and freed it up. So you'll see that when you click yours, you don't have no paywall to actually even deal with. Now all you have to do is select where you want your phone number to be. So I assume the United States.
253.
Uh, that is, I guess, what pops up. I don't know if that's because of yours. So I guess it takes that number and I guess assumes maybe that's what you want. But you can put in 253 and then you can search and it'll go through and tell you all of the 253 numbers that we have available. You can see which one you like, if you like this easy 7733 number, or if you want one that's more similar like yours, but this is not linked to your phone number. That service, I haven't seen that service to tell you the truth with CRMs. Usually it's just another, unless you download some type of app in which they kind of send it through your phone, which is the same thing. However, you can get blocked if you're sending out a lot of messages. If it looks, I don't want to say spammy or looks like the same message going out to 300, 400 people. I've had instances with people where they just said, well, I'm just going to send it out my own. And then T-Mobile blocked their whole account, locked them up, and it took them about seven days, if not a little bit more, to kind of figure out what it was, the issue, why they got blocked. And what it basically comes down to is the numbers that you guys purchase for your cell phones from providers and things like that, it's for personal use, right? They don't. And
Yeah.
then so when you speak to them after blocking it, they're going to start to sell you, oh, do you want a business number? And then obviously business numbers are a lot different and they have different plans, but that goes along the same lines, right? So this you can consider a business number for yourself. I used to tell the real estate agents a lot because they had a lot of the same questions. Like, but it's not my own number. Put it in your signature. label it as an office phone number. If people call any of these, like if you selected this number and somebody called it, it gets routed to you. So you end up picking up the phone and that will go to your cell phone.
Okay. How
So
does it show on the caller ID? Like, let's
when
say
somebody
I
calls
choose
in,
that 77 mesh, the one that was before that.
uh-huh. So let's say you pick any of these numbers. Um, I'm not sure how it shows up, as if it shows up like a forward call, but I do know it does get forwarded to you, right? Um,
Yeah, but how will people look at the email, at the text, if they don't know where it comes from?
no, well, they're going to see that it comes from you. So it's going to come from, so the
From
caller
my
ID will show
personal
this.
cell phone?
No,
No.
this is going to show this number, the number that you select, it will show that number. And if you add a text signature that has your name, title, and let's say your phone number, then they'll know that it's coming from you, right? In your signature. So
Yeah.
that's a different area, right? That's in your
No,
signatures.
no, no, that I get it, but when I receive a text,
Uh-huh.
it shows Michelle Supke 253-414-4999.
Okay.
So when people receive an email, a text from that third number, that
I'm pretty sure it just shows up the number, right? I don't think it's going to say your name. And I don't know, Bob, do you recall when you send out text? I'm pretty sure you use text messaging. Do you recall what it looks like or have a message from but at the end of the day, I mean, that can be solved relatively easily by just picking yourself a number and then sending yourself a text message so you can see what it looks like. But I'm pretty sure it's just the number in which it comes text from. I don't think there is a title to it, like what you're saying, like in the caller ID. I don't think that that pops up,
okay.
but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I do get text messages from somebody else that recently does texting. One second, newly. Yeah, it shows just the number.
Just a number.
Doesn't show, doesn't show. But then again, when I get these messages from people, I just see the number. And these are people like using their own cell phones, wishing me happy, happy New Year, Merry Christmas, things like that. So I have to, in my service, save the person's contact with the phone number and in order for it to show up. I
Okay.
don't I don't get where it has the person's like caller ID kind of thing. So I'm safe to say it's just the phone number. Um, if they save you in as a contact, then most likely
Yeah.
that's going to show up, right? But it's just the phone number. And I'm assuming based on what you're saying, your signature, that'll help them understand, who this is coming from. If they
Yeah. Okay. I
didn't,
get it. I get
they can give it a call,
it.
and that's the good thing is that it goes right to you. So, and if they send you a text message, and what I would do is if you do pick your number, I would save this as a Sparky number, right? Like Sparky number 2 or Field Notes text number or something like that, so that when messages do come in, it says that this is Field Notes text number, right? That way you can assume, okay, this is from the Field Notes, and then it will also in parentheses within the message, it'll give you the number of the person that sent you that message. So then you can take that message and search it. Or if you go to your dashboard, you're going to see where in your dashboard you'll have a reply. And let's just let that pop up. So right here, received. And so this would show a number, and then you could hit received, and then it'll show you who that's from. And then you can, if you had a contact, you can click that contact and it'll open up his profile. And then you can see what is it, the message that I sent to him. I don't have anybody well, this is actually your account, so there's no text message that has gone through. But that's where you'll see that, and then you can just easily get to it and
Okay.
then address the situation. Whether if you want to email from or a text message from your phone or come in here to keep the communication stream through this, you can then follow up through this message as well. So that is the A2P, right? When you guys
Okay.
are ready.
And
And
when you say
uh
800 messages a month, right?
I say 800 credits and 1 credit. So when you pick a number, right, it'll allow you to see how many characters you write in a message and it'll count it out for you, okay? If it is more than 140 characters, that is going to then count as 2 credit.
Okay.
If it's
So,
less than 140 characters, that's going to be 1 credit. And you get 800 credit.
okay, I get it.
Yep. So if you're using 2 credits per message, you can only send theoretically
400.
400 messages. Yeah, to 400 people. But
Yeah.
if you use, and that's where I brought up the link tree, because it is a link that usually falls within the 140. So that would be just one message. And in that link tree, you can have videos, websites, links, all kinds
I
of,
don't know what Linktree is.
it's an electronic business card. And so
Oh,
an electronic business card is just an accessible URL that if you click it, it'll take you to your phone number, your email address, your website, um, other links that you want, PDFs. If you use Google Docs, you could take all of those hosted material and you can have it as individual links on your link tree or your electronic business card. So with just a short link, people can get access to all of your different phone numbers, all of your different content. And I think that's a little bit more dynamic, right? Because it also allows you to stay within the characters per message so that you can get the most. And like I was saying before, there's a couple of CRMs I've seen for like 160 something dollars a month. They only give you rights to send 100 messages.
mm-hmm.
So with this, you could get up to almost 800 messages, which I feel is it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Especially for the $51 a month that you're paying,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
almost unlimited, right? So if you've got a free Gmail account, I think you could safely send out 800, 500 emails a day. And then
Mm.
some services allow you to get literally for your month just 500 email blasts. So definitely, I do think that you get a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to emails, when it comes to text messaging, and when you run out of your credits, you can purchase packages,
Yeah.
300, 500, 1,000, 2,000. And for what you're purchasing those, they don't expire, right? They take actually, okay, so they do expire, but it takes a calendar year, right? So you get 365 days from the day that you purchase that. And the system is smart enough to detect once you've consumed all of your credits that come with the month, then it will go into that second balance that you've purchased. And then let's say there was only 3, 4 days for your monthly balance to replenish again. This would
Mm-hmm.
switch back over to your monthly credits, consume those first because those do expire. And then if you found yourself that you needed, it would go into the second balance. So the system helps you manage that, something that you don't have to switch on and
Okay.
off. And if you have some extra, then let's say you went over a couple hundred, the system would skip to the next balance, use, and your messages still go out. So that's a little bit of when purchasing a phone number with us, utilizing it, and then the amount of credits that you have. And so, yeah, we go on a
Okay.
credit system.
So to take care of that, my next step is to send you the form.
Submit, click the
Yeah,
job
do
form,
the submit.
submit it,
Okay.
right? That goes to the departments in my company that need that information to begin setting up the registry. Then
Mm-hmm.
I have access to just view that it did come in. So when I see it come in, I essentially kind of, count 7 days and then go back go back to that department and said, "Hey, can we take a look to see if this is done yet?" And then once I kind of catch wind that it has been, I will go to your system, most likely do a test, make sure that I do get the message, and then now I know, okay, we're live. And then I can send you a message saying, "Hey, you're ready to go. Your messages will now begin to go out." And so then you can start using
Okay.
text messaging.
Okay, so I'm in the document right now.
Uh-huh.
It's all filled up wherever there's little stars, right?
Yep. Those are all important information that needs to be filled in.
And I cannot click on submit.
It might have timed out,
Oh, hold on.
so we might have to do it again.
Can I save it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
It might be that you have to go back to it again and then start it.
let me go back again to my SMS camping verification.
And then while you look for that, there is there's somebody that came new that came on board. She's a newbie. She does a lot of networking. And so it's going to be interesting because not only is she up there in the rankings, right? She does use a lot of social media. She does a lot of outreach. She does a lot of prospecting. So one thing about working with so many different people is that I do pick up things
Yeah.
from other people and how they do their business. And so from just the demo alone, what I had with her and kind of going over things, I can see that she does things a lot different. And when she said that she prospects, let's just say 200 people, she will safely get a return of like five, maybe five or less subscriptions based on her prospecting about
Mhm.
200 people. So far, that has been, I don't want to say the best that I've seen so far, right? But somebody that does heavy networking as well, working these paid leads, I think we had like 1,500 names, close to 1,200 names, and I think we were able to get maybe two or three out of that. So I'm curious to see how she skins that cat, to see how she gets these types of numbers, right? To see if it's maybe her approach, maybe if it's her style of outreach, maybe what, the style
Yeah,
of how
yeah.
she qualifies them. I know she uses a lot of these third party phone calls. She sends out a lot of testimonials. So I know she has, a special way of doing it, but I'm really, really anxious to see. I meet with her today to kind of continue this setup and to help her kind of dial in her system. One thing she wants to use the system is for retention, right? Apparently her retention was low and that affected her her opportunities to participate in some of the bonuses. And so I don't know. For some people, it just takes one good yank of the ear to kind of be like, "Oh, wake up! You need to be doing something." And
Hmm.
so she's she was from Cassie's network of people, and Cassie talked about how this can be used for retention and how people do use it for retention. And
And
so say that.
how do they use it for retention?
Well, once you've brought the person on, right, we've got action plans, and I can still show this in your account because we're not really showing anything. But when you go to import action plans and you go to nurture, we've got this trend micro legacy benefit retention campaign. Also, we have this membership retention campaign. So you can download this. Well, you can preview it if you want. You can see this one. This has the little logo. It uses smart tags to import their ID number, helps them get set up, right? Welcome and activate. And then it also does this for how long? For
Almost a
260
year.
days. So this is a year's worth of consistent contact with these people, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm not saying with just this alone. However, I'm assuming this, just tap your app, telling people about the member perks, you know. I
Hmm.
saw
Hmm.
this, I think this came from LegalShield and it was like a meme and it was like a baby, like a cropped picture of a baby. I don't know if you guys saw it. And it was the baby obviously just chilling in his crib or chilling in his stroller, and he had like a real thinking kind of look on him. And the header was uh
But
me
why can't
thinking
you show it to us?
me thinking what I'm going to be doing with my Legal Shield membership, right? So, any that's a that's a meme that was on the like I think it was on Facebook. But what if you put a little email together and sent that out to everybody, right? And then below it maybe took you to a PDF that talks about member perks, things like that. Anything that can get somebody to chuckle, and then it has a link maybe to a PDF or something like that. I think that would also kind of be a good touch to help people. And then again, depending on if you like to reach out to people and, you know, check in with them, see how things are, if they're getting the full use out of their benefits. Who knows? Obviously it's a time consuming type of thing, but if by having a relationship with these people, whether if it's through emails and text messages, maybe that helps kind of keep the bond with the product, knowing that they can either go to you if they have questions and need some insight, or you've just got
Yeah.
plenty of touches throughout the year, but it also through your signature, through the emails that you send out to them, it has information to where they can go find the answers that they need. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so, yeah.
a couple of things I'd throw out, Jeremy. Any of these that are existing, especially if we're going to use them for retail Legal Shield memberships, they're all going to have to be gone through item by item, because depending on which plan they get under the new retail system, some of these things are not going to apply. For example, it talks about an annual renewal for your will and all that. And if you've got the 29.95 plan, there are no annual renewals. So it's going to cause us to have to go through some of these old ones and also set up some sort of way to track whether they've got the 29, 30, or 40 plan, so that you can know which one of these to send out. So it's going to be accurate for the plan they signed up for.
If I had to quickly say something in regards to that, maybe with a sphere created to
Right.
differentiate. Now, when it comes to those types of things, I do rely 100% on the group to kind of communicate to me. I mean, you guys are welcome to import this yourself, right? And to edit these and to do as you wish, right? That you don't even have to consult me. You can go in and edit these all you want. I have taken one of these action plans, which was, I think, the Trend Micro and the Legacy plan, and I put that in the library. And I think is that under, I think it's the Legal Shield ID. There it is, group servicing. So it's under the group, but some of this information is, and so here is the full action plan split up into just individual emails. So if you wanted to build your own based off of, well, like what you said,
Right.
based off of the special needs, well, then you could use this. But then again, you could also do this for yourself by going to the action plans, importing it, and let me just show you. So if you import one, we can go to this nurture. And then, so let's say this member retention one, this is the one that I want. I can go down to the bottom and import it. And then it's going to go ahead and give me a nurture folder where this lives. And then this is the full list of 15 different activities laid out, right? So let's say you create a folder in your templates. You could open up this one. Let's say this is the one that you liked. You can go save as a template, and then you can actually go and find within your folders. You can actually give it a name, and then you can save it. And then this will import it as its standalone little email. And you can do that to all the ones that you like. And then you can have in your message templates a folder that then you can later come back to here and build out your own special little whatchamacallit,
Yeah.
action plan, right? But that would be just for you. But I mean, if you guys have something that is to what you feel maybe what a lot of the people in networking would be using, then you're free to, share that with me and say, hey, I've got an action plan. This is what I use it for. I think it's pretty much anybody in my wheelhouse would be doing if they're doing just networking. So I'm curious to see what kind of retention plan this new gal decides to kind of come up with and create. And if I see that it's good enough for everybody, I might just let her put it together and then kind of get it out for everybody else to see what they like and if they want to use it. But at the end of the day, I like to teach everybody how to be able to do these things on their own, so that based on what you do, what you feel is important, you can set up your own action plan and
Yeah,
execute them.
because you could have, we could have, can you like, let's say I want to do the send immediately. Okay, I want all of them, but I want to tweak them.
So when you download this, right? So this one's downloaded on it's no longer an imported action plan. It is an action plan that you have under the nurture folder, right? So everybody gets a default, but if you import something, it'll actually import a nurture folder or whatever folder where it was created. And so now you can take this, and this is your action plan. This is not anybody else's. It's not the one that's imported. And you can go into this and you can edit it and save it. You can set up your own kind of
And
frequency.
I can change the title, I assume.
100% this whole thing is edit. You can make it your own, right? You could leave it as a placeholder and totally just delete it and start from scratch and make your own, or you can delete it and put something else in its place, right?
Okay,
This
I
this
mean
is all for you.
the title,
Oh no, the whole
number
thing is
one.
uh what do you mean number one like this?
And oh yeah, it doesn't really say what it is.
It
It's
what it
just
what it says is this is just counting the activity, and then this is the subject. But you'll be able to edit this, edit these, be able to put text messages in between if you wanted to. I think a good follow-up text message right after this one, and it could be almost immediately, right? Email goes out and then they get a text message. This is something that Kathy Lucas kind of coins,
yeah.
and it's a follow-up text message saying, I just sent you an email to this email, and please take a look. Talks about, hey, go to spam just in case. And that way people either recognize that they've got something that they need to follow up with, but also she'll get people replying back to her, that's not my best email. Here's my personal email. So that
Okay.
also helps. And then you can take that information, switch it in the account, resend the action plan, and know that that person now gave you good. And you can always keep that as a second alternate email, the one that they signed up with first, just in case. And then you can send it out, and then you
Yeah.
have good information going out to people. So I think those things are helpful. At the end of the day, we want people to know that they're getting these types of communications. But anything you can think that might, like what I would do is, if I see news articles that talk about a scenario in which, if it was you, I would be using my Legal Shield, right? So I think recently somebody had a lot of problems with Facebook and Meta, and she uses Legal Shield to help get her information set up and get her account back. And that was something that she was using the whatchamacallit, you know what I mean? The Legal Shield service. And so, who knows that you would be using it for these things unless somebody kind of said, hey, this is how you doing, Bill?
Hello, hello.
Good seeing you. Good seeing you. So I think those things are a little bit more touching the people because it's a real life scenario, and then or creating an action plan with a bunch of testimonials. I think that I really like the testimonials that you guys have access to. I think it really does a good job of letting people see other people and how they've used the system and use the benefits, to where nobody wants to be in anybody else's shoes, right? Nobody wants to be in a position where they have to, left and right use the legal plan, but to have that as a benefit and to know that you can get the best out of it. I think I think anything you guys can do to help people realize those little different life scenarios, I think it's going to help you. I did that with a real estate agent. She wasn't using the CRM to kind of get content out, and we use in the real estate side touches to, just kind of keep yourself top of mind with them. So there was things where she would read the news and she would see things that were just real estate seller, home buyer related, and she would put a nice little email together and she would send it out to her peoples. And there's people that read the emails, felt that she was 100% correct with what she put together. And through that, they respected her because they obviously felt that, this lady's got a mind to it and she knows what she's talking about. And then months later, those same people reach out to her and say, I'd like for you to help me sell my mother's home. And she's like, where did this come out of? Right. And it's all her own little book of client. So I think that can definitely be translated into what you guys do. It's just a matter of, having a little mind for it, using ChatGPT, using Canva. And nowadays there's links from ChatGPT to Canva. So you can actually put in prompts, create stuff, and then ask it to give you some templates for creating some graphics in Canva, and then it just does the whole thing for you. And then you give it access to Canva, and then voila, you've got a full-on graphic that you really didn't have to kind of go and piece together. And then now you got something that you can put it in as a form as an email, send it out. There's a lot of blogs that you guys have that do a really good way of at least staying frequent with how to use scenarios, things like that. I mean, whether if you don't want to do any type of plagiarism or if you don't want to use what LegalShield gives you, you can take that same information, summarize it through ChatGPT, and then have ChatGPT, based on the summarized points, you can kind of maybe edit it, give your 2 cents, give it back to ChatGPT and say, hey, create me a blog post that talks about these, points and things like that. So now it's a little bit different from what LegalShield has. However, it gave you the majority of the ideas to what to write about, to what to kind of do. So then you put something together and you send that out. And let's say you're sending that out as like a form of retention, just kind of helping people know these different scenarios. And it could also help you sell other products, right? What if you send them a blog about, a small business plan, and this is the small business owner, and he says, I didn't know you guys had small business. And you go, well, absolutely. And then now you have a conversation with this individual. So, if you just sit there and don't think that I don't need to send these types of things out, well, then you really kind of lose a little bit of what's the potential of people either seeing other products. Some cases, maybe you want to not get into the woods with people, but I mean, if it helps you expand and get another product on somebody else, I know that's going to help, I would assume. And so, but yeah, so that's this. But yeah, so it's just a matter if you want to, recreate your own. You definitely have all the leeway to add more activities at the bottom. You can set up property changes, right? So if you aren't familiar with a property change, you can,
What
let's
is
say,
what is that?
so like a sphere, right? So let's say at the end of this action plan, you can create a sphere that is, retention campaign first year, meaning when they have that, they've received 1 year's worth of the first retention campaign. And then let's say that you
I'm
have
not
a
there
second
yet.
year, a third
Okay.
year, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can have these
No,
spheres
I don't
apply.
really know what you mean because you're like a little bee. You go from the rose bush to the blackberry bush, and I'm lost. I lost
in
the bee.
time in time you'll get what a property change is. And so,
Okay.
but this is just one of the set up an appointment or a to do, set up an email, set up a text message. These are of the 4 activities that you can set up. So since we're
Okay.
here, just minded to just explain that to people. But with you, you're new, it's fresh paint. As we start to get into stuff, you'll see where that might possibly apply to yourself. But that's what that is. And so,
Jeremy,
yes, sir.
before we go, when I go into mine, it already tells me, has my field note number and tells me in my case, I've used 1.62% of my 800, which leads me to believe I'm already got all the documentation completed, or do I need to do it again?
For A2P?
Yeah, for sending out.
No. If you can see that that's all that's saying is that that's what you've consumed.
Right, but it wouldn't let me consume it if I hadn't filled out your paperwork, would it?
Correct, correct. And
So
I
I have
think,
to fill it out again. That's what I'm at.
yeah, no, once you're registered, you're registered. And I
Okay,
remember we did a real big push. First it was,
right.
this is kind of coming down the line. We don't know what we're doing, but we're doing this on your behalf. That was like the first email that we sent out to people. And then
Yep.
it was like, nope, no longer can the company do it on your behalf. You have to fill out this information. So then I sent out a second email that kind of explained a little bit all of this. And the
Yep.
email that Michelle got was for the new people that come. It's an explanation of everything. And then it gives you the steps to fill it out. So if
Yep.
I did
I'll
get
go.
something
I'll
from,
have to go see the steps because it won't let me submit it.
right. So I would possibly maybe close it, go back to the link
I
again,
did 3 times.
and it does not let you.
No, because it opens up in a PDF in my Adobe.
It should take you to a whatchamacallit. Let me see if I can study. Bill and Michelle, extension port. So here in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and drop it. Tell me if you can access this link. I just put it in the
Yeah, yeah.
whatchamacallit chat. Does that take you to the job form?
Yeah, but I already have it filled up.
Understood. But like I said, I think it might have timed out. It's sitting like that. So you might have to
Oh,
go to that
oh,
link again,
okay,
start over,
okay,
but then submit it within, the 5-10 minutes that it takes you to fill it out.
okay. So I'll do that right now.
Yeah. And then it takes about a week. There's in some cases, like some people have given us incorrect information and then the registry kind of gets kicked back. So we got to go back and forth with them. That obviously would drag things out a little bit. But other than that, it's a relatively quick and easy steps to go through. And then, yeah. So I think I'm coming up on my next meeting. So I definitely thank everybody for showing up today. I will wish everybody a happy new year, and we will see you on the second Thursday. It
Yeah.
might not be too much people, but like a lot of people have said,
Just so you know, Jeremy, there's a whole bunch of Legal Shield Zooms on the
On
2nd
that
of
day.
January. And so you may have a pretty light turnout.
all right,
I don't know how long some of them are going to run, but there's 3 of them on that day alone. And all
wow,
of them are talking about the new stuff that they're bringing out for the new year. And
perfect.
so I,
Well, keep
if
me abreast.
all
Pay
do, I will
attention.
be
Take some
there.
notes.
Wanted to give you a heads up.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, if nobody shows up, I'll leave it open for a little bit, but
Yeah, just like I say,
hey,
the second's the day they decided to do all of this for obvious reasons. Not many people probably would really want to do it on the first. So the second's pretty blasted with Zooms.
perfect. No, I mean,
Jeremy, are the replays out there now? The ones that the guy was
I
gonna
had
do?
sent them over. To my knowledge, he doesn't have other stuff other than this. So I'm assuming I sent him like what, 10 of them. So he's most likely doing them. If we can take a look to see let me see where we're at with the latest date, and I'll tell you. So here's Vimeo. Let's see when it was on the. So we have up until November 7th online.
Oh, wow.
That was 5 days ago.
November 7th?
Yep, it says 11 of 7. So I'm going to assume that is November 7th.
That would be more than 5 days ago.
No, what I'm saying is 5 days ago it was uploaded.
Oh, okay. Okay. You said we have them up to. Okay.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so that was a Thursday of November, and I think I gave him all of November's. So I'm pretty sure he's just going at them one at a time.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Yeah, after the first of the month, I'll have a little bit of time to kind of look at some of this stuff so I can get my stuff up and running.
Absolutely.
All
So
right, Jeremy, I know you have another meeting, so we won't let your people wait.
thank you.
So
It's a pleasure.
I'll contact you well, actually I will make an appointment to move forward. So
Thank you. And the same with the rest. If you guys need any help, you know where to find me.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Happy
You're
New
welcome.
Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Good health, joy, and prosperity.
Times 12. That's right.
All right. All right.
All righty.